Heyo everyone, Stellarism here, and welcome to my roller coaster review series. Now in this video, I'm going to be talking about a coaster that I've ridden many times. I'm talking over 100 times. Yes, you heard that right. No exaggeration. And it's located at what I call my home park, Nickelodeon Universe at New Jersey's American Dream Mall. Now here in this video, I'll be reviewing the largest and the record-breaking TMNT Shellraiser at Nickelodeon Universe. TMNT Shellraiser, or as I'd like to call it for short, Shellraiser, is what I probably consider the star attraction at Nickelodeon Universe. This here is a Eurofighter ride model built by Gerstlauer that features an LSM launch, 7 inversions, and of course the steepest drop in the world with an angle of 121.5 degrees, just by half an angle over its predecessor Takabisha at Fuji-Q Highland. Interesting enough, Shellraiser is the same exact clone as Takabisha, except with a slightly steeper drop. Gee, talk about getting one word spell correct in the 5,000 word essay assignment to get a passing grade. This right here intertwines with a spinner coaster that's also built by Gerstlauer, aka Shredder. Shellraiser opened to the public on October 25th, 2019, the day when this mall made its grand opening to the public. This ride is worth 6 points for one ride, which is the equivalent of $10. Now if you ask me, I think it's pretty decent for its price. As it's located at a park themed to Nickelodeon, this ride here is themed to the popular show franchise, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Hence, that's what TMNT is short for. I will say that visually, this ride looks absolutely amazing. Makes a really good impression when you walk up to the park entrance. Hell, that's one of the first things you see when you walk in. This ride features a very cool lighting package that glows at night, which is made by KCL Engineering. Now the one thing I find cool is whenever the train passes by a light circuit, the lights then create a trail for all the segments that the train has traveled through. When walking up to this ride, you are greeted with some cool props including the character statues, the Shellraiser bus, and the logo, which if you ask me, makes a really great entrance, very good impression, but when you go behind it, it's just bland. Well, you got Antonio's Pizzeria, but that's pretty much it. Shellraiser often runs 2 trains, and the dispatches are very good from what I've seen. Now, if you know a thing or two about Gerstlauer's, they definitely do not have the best capacity. But one thing that's surprising is that if you go on a weekday, this ride can either be a complete walk-on or have a 5-minute wait at most. But it can get really busy if you go on a weekend or around holiday season. After being given the all clear by the ride operators, you'll then be dispatched out of the station, first going to 2 left-handed turns with dry tires, then leading to a pretty fun pre-launch section, starting off to a small dip turning into the first inversion, offering some really good hang time. Now if there's one thing I like about Heartline rolls, especially this one, it's like as if you're trying to do a 360 roll, but you make a turn while exiting the inversion. Then after that, you dip down into what I think is my favorite part of the ride. That's right, the rolling LSM launch shooting you up to 62 miles an hour within 2 seconds. Like, it's quite a forceful launch. Seriously. After that, you go into these elements that offer some crazy head chopper moments and pull some really good positive G's. This includes a huge corkscrew, a banana roll, and a smaller corkscrew. Then there's a twisted hill with a little bit of air, which would then lead to the mid-course brakes. So now you have the first half finish. Then when you get to the part when you make a turn going into the vertical lift hill while you're having guests ride with you, those guests would be like,
"No, God! No, God, please, no!"
And hey, at least you don't have to worry about the sun shining straight into your face when climbing up a vertical lift hill, which that was a huge lifesaver. Thank you, ceiling. Once you get to the top, the real anticipation approaches as it slows you down. Then lo and behold, the holding brakes that hold you there for what feels like eternity. When you look up, there's the New York City skyline right in front of you, which makes it a really gorgeous view. After that, you then go into the record-breaking drop, which offers very good airtime, but when it comes to ejector, it's hit or miss. Now if you look carefully at these brake fins, you can see whether they're up or down. When they're up, it means they're on. When they're down, it means they're off. Now I don't know exactly when they switch on or off as it's randomized, but here's a comparison to how the train travels through that drop. Nonetheless, it's still a breathtaking drop. After that, you then go into a rough pothole spot if you sit in the front row, in which I'm going to get into later in this video. You then go into 3 more inversions thrown on this ride, including a dive loop, an inside top hat, and an Immelman. And I will say that the inversions in the second half feel a little less intense than the first half, but like the first half, it still offers some good positive G moments and crazy head chopper moments. After that, you reach the final breaks, and wow, what was that I just rode? Yup, what you just rode is quite the adrenaline rush. Oh yeah, I did mention about that pothole. Now, I'm just going to say that this is one of those rides where if you ride in one row, you may not enjoy it as much, while in the other row, it is a completely different story. In other words, you'll be likely to enjoy it way more than in the other row. And yes, I'm referring to how headache-inducing the front row can get, based on how certain parts of the ride can get quite rough. Oh, especially this part here, and this part right there. Oh my god. Not saying they're terrible, but they kind of hurt. Yeah, it might have sounded a little harsh right there, but that doesn't mean I despise this ride. I do know for a fact that it's been like that since day 1 when it first opened. Now keep in mind that I am not an engineer, but I'm not sure why that would be the case. But I have heard from a few people that it might have to do with Shellraiser and Shredder's footers being under the concrete floor. But that's just hypothetically speaking, so I really don't know the whole reason to this. But if you know me, I do enjoy rough coasters, and as long as they're not jarring. But I do prefer sitting in the back row for a smoother experience. If you're in the back row, you do get a little bit of potholes, but they are nowhere as close to being jackhammering like in the front row. And that here is the biggest con I have with this ride, but other than that, I really do enjoy this ride. I will say that the redeeming factor for the front row would certainly have to be the launch, because there you can definitely feel the wind rush into your face. And that's one thing that would make me want to marathon this, but if I keep marathoning the front row, then the roughness could get too much for me. This does bring me to a point where, if you can, try to ride this ride more than once. Try one ride in the front row and try one ride in the back row. There between those 2 rows will have some huge differences. Okay, so now it's time to give Shellraiser a final score. And I'm going to give this ride 7.5 out of 10. Overall, I think it's a really good ride and a perfect fit for this park. Now, if this ride was smoother, then I'd probably bump the score up just by half a point. But hey, it's not the end of the world. As long as this ride is maintained properly, I'll still enjoy this. Now, Gerstlauer Eurofighters are not really my cup of tea. However, I do find them fun for what they are, but I definitely prefer other ride models, including Intaments. I think when comparing this to about 90% of the other Eurofighters, I would say Shellraiser definitely holds up for being one of the most significant versions of them. In terms of where I would rank this ride for the rides at Nickelodeon Universe, I'd say this is my second favorite, just behind Sandy's Blasting Bronco, which that ride I'm going to be reviewing soon. What are your thoughts on Shellraiser? Please let me know in the comments down below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, because if you did, please go ahead and leave a like, comment, and consider hitting that subscribe button down below. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you all next time.